What I do want to talk about is the fact that 5 years ago, I gave a speech at the UN. And that speech talked about the fact that I had worked with the Israelis and they had maps. And those maps were from Hamas. And Hamas basically had these maps that said if they were able to get past the barrier, these were the quickest, easiest ways to get into the Israeli communities to kill as many Jews as they could. And what I said then was we have to make sure that we never let them get across that barrier. Now, I have actually been in Israel and seen the tunnels. I've been on the border of Lebanon and seen the 130,000 rockets looking back at Israel. I've been on the border of Gaza. I've been at Ida refugee camp. I've actually seen how the Palestinians live. I looked at the buildings and saw the graffiti that said, kill the Jews, hate the Jews. I've worked with organizations that the UN funds, that I stopped U.S. funding, that would actually have textbooks and they would have math problems. Like if you have 5 Jews and you kill 4 Jews, how many Jews are left? So when you hear of anything trying to give sympathy to what is happening in Gaza, don't listen to it, because I've been there. I've been in those tunnels. Where do they put those tunnels? What do they put in those tunnels? They put equipment, they put ammunition, they hide hostages, and that's where they hide to try and do harm to Israel. And where are those tunnels? They put them under schools, under hospitals, because they know Israelis value life. And when you look at what happened the other day, how horrific it was when they were dragging bodies around the streets, what were they saying? Death to Israel, death to America. That's what we're dealing with. That's why we have to eliminate Hamas.
Governor, Ambassador, like you, I've been in those tunnels. Like you, I've actually been there during, flare-ups that have happened. I've been there when border towns, I've been to the border of Gaza where a nearby town the night before had been hit with a rocket. I've seen the Iron Dome in action. I was driving a car with a group of people when we were there during the flare-up, about 150, 200 yards away. We saw a rocket land and blow up. We saw a kibbutz that had been hit the night before and nothing but shrapnel to destroy human beings. I mean, glass and nails. I mean, the hope is maximum destruction capability. And this is a real, clear, present danger. Now, my interpretation of Prime Minister Netanyahu's remarks is Gaza will no longer exist in its current form, and that Hamas will no longer be able to operate from there with such close proximity as you have seen with your own eyes, as I have seen, and fire their rockets from Gaza into Israeli towns any longer. I believe that capability will be wiped out. I believe that's the only answer. Do you agree?
We have to completely eliminate Hamas. But what I want the American people to remember is we've seen the images, and as horrific as they are, and as heartbreaking as all of this is, we are saying right now, eliminate Hamas. I can tell you because it happened all the time at the UN. When they start that ground game, when Israel starts to move in to eliminate Hamas further, you're going to have all these other countries and you're going to have Americans say, you need to show constraint. You need to be able to pull back. No, they need to eliminate Hamas. We are supporting Israel now because they've been hit. But the more important part is we have to support them when they hit back as well. Don't tell them to stop. They saw too much death. They saw too much destruction, and Hamas will do it again. We have to eliminate them regardless of how they try and intimidate us. And we have to remember the reason we have Israel's back is because it's not that that Israel needs America. America needs Israel. They're the front line of defense to this jihad terrorism. And that the next thing they want is America. And we should never be so arrogant to think that we don't need friends.
Governor, Ambassador, thank you for being with us. We appreciate your time.